So when you're growing up in a household where you're seeing drugs, violence, sex, uh, these things have an effect on you because you got to be careful what you expose your children to. You know, because what a child hears, they repeat. What a child sees, they copy. And then all that gets stored away in their memory. I mean, how do you think I'm a 54-year-old man remembering some of the worst times in my life? And why do I tell you that? Those experiences affect how I deal with people today, and how my opinions and how I deal with conflict, and how I socialize. It's important. So now comic books. Like what's all this got to do with comic books? Well, it's simple. The comic books, I found them to be funny. Remember I read Archie and Richie Rich and Casper, and when I would read these books, I remember saying to myself, no matter whatever little things I went through, if I got punished or sent to my room, they always say, well, you can't watch TV, you can't go outside. Well, guess what? I can read some comic books, and that's what I would do. Because I loved TV as a kid. I love TV. I still love TV. I watch too much TV. But TV was my babysitter back then because, like I said, Mom Dukes would sometimes be out for long periods of time. Now, let me tell you a story real quick. One time, my mom's had broke out, and she left me and my brother alone in the house. So she would often go out. And she said, well, don't open the door for nobody. That's it. We're in for the night. That's done. So one of these days, she left. And, of course, at those times, I was still scared of the boogeyman and shit. So I turned on all the lights. I had all the lights burning. And I'm up all night watching TV. But I'm also getting into mischief now. So on this particular night, I decided that I wanted to boil some water. Because below my window was a row of garbage cans. The garbage cans for the pickup, the super would put out, and the cats would raid the garbage cans. So I would like to pour hot water on the cats to scare them away. And I'm sorry. For cat lovers, I apologize. I was a kid, but I would never do that again. I love animals. So, for some reason, I must have been, again, everything is kind of blurry, but I remember boiling the water, going back, watching TV. My brother would sleep on my mom's bed. He was out. I was up all night, and I still stay up late at night. On weekends, I could sometimes I break night just watching TV, just wandering the house at night. I'm a night owl, especially on the weekends. I'm a night owl. So I guess I was playing with matches. I had to be playing with something, with fire, maybe some matches, a cigarette. I don't know what it was. I go back in the kitchen to check on the water I was boiling. I come back. Yo, the blanket is on fire. The blanket on the bed is on fire. Yo. I run back. I panic. I run back to the kitchen. Grab some water, come back, pour it on the blanket. Thank God. I came back in the room on time, just before it got up on the top of the mattress and got my brother's legs or burnt him alive. Do you know that literally I could have burnt my brother alive? I wouldn't know what to do. I could have burnt down that whole apartment. I didn't know how to dial 911 back then. I don't even know if we had a phone back then. So I got the blanket out, soaking wet. The house smells like smoke. I take a pair of scissors. I start cutting away the burnt part of the blanket. Cut that part away. I drop the water with a towel. Cut that part away. Take the dirty part. I sneak, I take it, ball it up, I sneak to the window, I drop it down to the garbage can. I open all the windows to get the smoke smell out. And I just chill. If my mother comes home, I'll just tell her I ripped it. Me being a kid, I'm not thinking. That smell ain't going away. Not in the time it needed to. So my mom comes home, and of course, she probably does an inspection. At some point, I hear her call my name. Tony, come in here. So I said, yeah. I said, what's been going on tonight? I said, nothing. I said, nothing? Nothing. Okay, why I smell smoke? Oh, boy. Then, I told her what happened. I get a beating. I get the beating of my life. And I'm like, wow. So thinking back on that, wait a minute. You left 2 young children alone in a house with no supervision, with access to fire and matches and so on. And I get a beating because I almost burned down the apartment. But I get a punishment. I get beaten. It is what it is. So, you go to your room, you cry, and you're punished. You can't go outside, you can't play, you can't watch TV. But she don't take away my comic books. I start reading my comic books. And the comic books, they help you, help you with reading comprehension. That's when I began to develop my skill for art and drawing, Because remember, when you're punished for the whole weekend or whatever, guess what? Take away the TV, take away outside. But the comic books is now sparking my imagination. So, pencil and paper, I start drawing. I learned how, comic books taught me how to draw. Reading, comprehension, drawing, and imagination. And now the part of calming me, relaxing me therapeutically. So comic books, I collect for many reasons, but later on, I collected for the therapeutic purpose, the therapeutic properties of comic books that calm me, relax me, help me go to another world sometimes, because sometimes the world gets too serious. It gets too serious, man. And I'm not an over serious guy. I do what I have to do. I've done what I've had to do, and I've been responsible. But sometimes you just need a break, man. That's why you work all year, right? You work all year, and then what do? Take a 3-week vacation, right? You go party like a mug, right? Well, that's what they do. When the world gets too serious, and you read bills and insurance policies and life insurance and mortgages and work bullshit and people bullshit. Sometimes you just pick up a book, and you know what? I'm just out of here. Let's give me like 10 issues of some old Spidey comics. That's when I go online, I order me some Spidey comics or whatever. They come in, I save them, and slowly start reading them one by one. And I had a rough day, I relax. And when you raised up in an environment like I was raised up in, and you dealt with some of the traumas I've dealt with, comic books were like, that good friend that's there for you. Because I didn't have that back in those days. Back in those days, a lot of the kids on the block, young, they don't know nothing about that. And like I said, I dealt with them. Some days were good with them, some days were not so good with them. Slap, kick, punched on a regular. Whew, that's why I got a tough skin now. Real tough skin right now. I don't know. But I learned to, take it on the chin. Cry when I didn't. I cried until I didn't feel like crying no more. I didn't hit back until I felt like hitting back. And it is what it is. It's who I am today. It's rough. But I'm glad I made it through. Glad glad we all made it through.